Hello, my name is Cristobal Garza, and this is my presentation for a field report that I did on a Dremel 3D45 3D printer for Texas A&M University Kingsville for professional communications. The Dremel 3D45 is a 3D printer that creates 3D objects by heating up a plastic filament and then layering it on top of itself to create the object. 3D printing is a growing area of manufacturing, and it is important that any engineering student is knowledgeable about how it works and its uses. This printer is very efficient in how it is used, and it's very user-friendly in that it has a touch screen that is not difficult to operate. I would recommend this use and its applications for any manufacturer. To record the observation, I made an appointment at the College of Pharmacy where the printer is kept. I observed its operation on May 10th, 2025 for 20 minutes between 2:20 to 2:50. The operator of the printer was a student worker that is very knowledgeable about the printer's functionality, and he was able to answer questions that I had prepared beforehand. To record the observations, I took notes in a spiral notebook with a pencil as I watched. The printer sits in a large lab on the second floor of the College of Pharmacy. It's not very big, and it's gray with a glass screen that you can see inside. The first thing the operator did to start the printer was to select an option on its touch screen called Build. Next to this option were many other settings. This brought up the different objects that could be made. The objects could be stored on the printer in this case, or they can also be imported from a CAD file on an external computer. He selected a cube for demonstrative purposes. The printer then began to heat up and said it would take an hour to make the cube. It heated up the filament and then began to make the cube. In the picture, you can see where it says Dremel on that black square that sits on the silver bar. Below that black square is where the nozzle that secretes the filament lies. After a few minutes, it began making the cube in the shape of a square, and below it sits the panel where the object will be created on. As the printer continued to make the cube, I decided to ask the operator questions. I first asked what the printer is used for, and he said it will be used to create small capsules for medicine. I then asked if there are any problems or issues that the printer may have, to which he replied that the filament may get stuck in the nozzle as it heats up, and it may clog. So if the object is being made and it gets clogged, it may deform the object. He also said that if there are any objects being made that require complex geometry, the initial settings when starting the printer may need to be changed, and this will greatly increase the print times by several hours. After this, I thanked him and ended the observation. Based on my observations, I have concluded that the Dremel 3D45 printer is very simple in its workflow, but is capable of creating objects that fit many uses. The setup is straightforward and does not require many prompts to get it printing. If someone is looking to buy a 3D printer, then I would recommend this one, but be sure to tell them about its potential problems, such as the nozzle getting clogged with a heated up filament. Another thing to keep in mind with this printer is that it is not very big, so if one is looking to make large objects, they will need to purchase another printer that is bigger. However, for smaller products, especially ones that require high precision, this printer will meet all of their needs. It is also important to know what kind of filament you will be using, because the different types have different strengths and textures, and they may not all be compatible with this particular printer model. These are all the references that I used. Are there any questions?